one between FPX versus RNG. It looks like we're going to be missing out on the draft yet again, which means there's not so much anticipation as to see which champions are going to be played by our favorite players. It looks like FPX taking away the Diana from Ning, Ning in the jungle. Meanwhile, on the side from Shun, I'm sorry, Ning hasn't been in the game for a while. For Shun in the jungle. Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming getting the Akali as well as the Volibear onto both Rookie as well as Nenny. Nenny, of course, playing most of the team fight, bruiser, dive kind of champions. Looks like Invictus Gaming going with the aggressive as well as some team fight-ish bot lane combo. Kalista and the Terry. Terry, of course, detracts away from some of the potential for Kalista to go hyper aggressive in the early game. However, if the Kalista is jumped on, uh, Tarek is really the kind of champion that when you are the one being jumped onto, he really excels. He can provide pretty much endless healing as long as his mana bar can sustain it. And of course, he can provide a pretty good stun. And of course, he gives you a nice chunk of armor, which is going to be pretty good against FPX's team composition, despite the fact that most of the AP, based off the fact that most of the AP will probably be coming from that Diana in the jungle, and perhaps not so much from the mid lane Kled. Another Doing B classic pick. Let's not forget, of course, that Doing B's most played champion in the mid lane is that Kled, playing it 6 games this season. Meanwhile, for the rest of our FPX as well as Invictus Gaming, looks like they're playing pretty comfortable champions themselves. Nothing too out of the blue or out of the ordinary coming from either team. It looks like we're taking a little while to load into the game, barring some probably due to some technical difficulties. So there really is now only time to contemplate and consider what both teams are probably going to be planning to go through throughout the game. Is everyone can see the human side of the players on the screen. It's really a strenuous and rather taxing occupation to be a pro player. A lot of time is spent, a lot of injuries that we do not hear about, a lot of mental burnout, fatigue is rampant, and really, we saw the LPL. If you saw the LPL video that was released pretty recently, it pretty much highlights the life of a pro player, and behind all the glitz and the glam that you see on the screen when they're playing in those clutch moments, in those huge tournaments, really, these players do nothing but play. They wake up, they play, they eat, they play, they sleep, they wake up, they play, they eat, they play, they sleep. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes in those big moments when everyone is excited and people just pop off, and they just seem to get those highlight moments when Invictus Gaming hoisted the cup in 2018, when FPX hoisted it in 2019. Sometimes we forget that behind those moments are literally thousands, tens of thousands of hours that were used in order to get to that stage, in order to just for an opportunity at that stage. And when you consider those facts, every loss just doesn't feel like already playing solo queue. A loss doesn't feel good, but when you commit your life, like you are literally 100% in on trying to be the best, trying to win, and to be knocked out before you get to that stage, to not hoist the cup and come in at first place, it just absolutely destroys your soul. It's like, what did I spend not only this year, not only last year, but maybe the last 10, 12 years of my life playing? What was all of that for if I cannot win when I've committed my entire being to it? And that's really the existential crisis that pro players just have to find a way to come to terms to, considering the fact that really there can only be one winner. And that's unfortunately the beauty as well as the harshness of the sport, of any sport that we play. But beyond the philosophical nature of that, let's now turn our attention into the game and away from such, unfortunately, kind of depressing thoughts when we put our hearts out to the players. So in the mid lane, a little bit of a tussle going on. It's kind of obvious that both sides can play towards opposite lanes. So Tian, being the Diana, having to farm up a couple of levels means that it's more likely than not, he will not be too active. That being said, he does have some nice avenues to be active. He's got stuns in almost every single lanes. Doing B does have the bear trap to pull Rookie back into him. Although truth be told, Rookie probably have too much mobility, especially considering he has hit the level 4 mark. That being said, he's using a lot of his abilities as well as his energy in order to be aggressive onto Doinby. Rookie from the past few years has always been one to get 20 CS leads as Shin. Now preparing for a dive. It looks like the wave is going to crash completely full as Chris is already being chunked out. Shield of Daybreak in the face. Some of that sunlight damage coming down as well. But Tien is making his way down towards bot side from base. There's still teleports available from every single side. Looks like Invictus Gaming trying to tease out a teleport from the solo laners of FPX. Unfortunately for them, they did not manage to do so. A little bit of pressure on the map. Can't argue with that. Managed to draw Tien towards the bottom side. Although he was already hitting that way by the looks of it. Looks to be a opposite side of the map start, both champions starting on the red side for either team's junglers. Meanwhile, so back to what I was saying, FPX really have the ability to play through most lanes with their jungler, but more likely than not, they will play towards top side. Snowballing the Irelia is always a good and comfortable feeling. Not really sure what patch they are playing on, but chances are this is before the Irelia changes, so she still needs 5 stacks of her passive, and she doesn't scale so well into the late game. We're still needing to max the Q, of course. Meanwhile, on Invictus Gaming, they can definitely play through the top side as well. They do have the Volibear as well as the Viego, both high damage AD champions. Don't really imagine you playing through Rookie because Viego doesn't really provide that great gank potential as Tien now, looking to threaten the dive as well. But looks like his bot lane is going to back off, so nothing happening here. Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming, like I said, can play through the top side, but most likely can also play through the bottom side as well, as Tyr is coming in for the AD carry of FPX as Doinby flashing in under tower. Unfortunately, trying to jump in onto Lucas under tower as well as Skarl runs away. Doinby actually is going to run out of this fight as the rest of FPX were coming around as well. I'm not quite sure how that happened because Rookie seemed to be having such a dominant time in lane versus Doinby. But in the end, ultimately, it looks like Doinby is the one to come out victorious on the top. Let's see a replay, I suppose. So anyway, we're probably gonna understand what happened there. So Invictus Game can play through either lane, but more likely has a comfortable time playing through top. Oh, it looks like Doinby came back to lane, teleported in, and Rookie, not respecting the fact that Doinby is fresh up on HP as well as items, just gets completely punished in lane right under his own tower, Doven through his shroud and his excess mobility. Doinby not even having to use his flash in that exchange, does have the flash advantage. So honestly, Rookie could find himself getting a lot of attention here as Shin and Lucas trying to set a trap up, and it looks like Chris is going to walk right into it as down goes the path, but the miss unfortunately is a dead giveaway for anybody, especially when you have to throw it out first. So you can't really throw back the stun. It looks like Doinby just having the time of his life in this mid lane, not at all afraid to grab some tower aggro in order to trade it back for some of Rookie's HP. Looks like Rookie is going to have to get some help in this lane to push it out, or maybe even look to channel his recall melee as Nuguri going aggressively onto Nanny in the top side. A bit of a CS lead already developing for our current world champion top laner as Tien now behind tower. Shroud might be available. I can't really see as Rookie might be in trouble as in comes Shin as well as Chris teleport coming down. That is Nanny. Nanny is level 6 as Rookie goes in to finish off Tien. Will be finished off himself by the Iron Spike whip as both Shin and Nanny coming in now is the teleport from Nuguri, and it looks like Shin is not having a good time as Doinby is still so healthy, flashing away from the Stormbringer. Nanny really not much left as in comes Lucas, will have the stun available, and Doinby going very deep on the tower, nearly finishing off Nanny. Unfortunately, there's not enough as Lucas just provides too many heals and shields. Chris being flashed onto there by Wink, and altogether it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Invictus Gaming. Gold now has been equalized off of Doinby's first blood, Doinby's first blood. So all in all, not too bad, but Doinby has managed to develop himself quite a comfortable CS lead. And although the gold might slightly be in favor of Invictus Gaming at this point in time, Doinby is still going to have a pretty easy time bullying Rookie even under tower. And Rookie seeing an opportunity to trade 1-for-1, even maybe get some assist and continue the fight. Players not at all afraid to chuck their lives into the thick of it. But really, you can't hope to beat a Viego when he gets his resets off. And unfortunately, the wave was in such an uncomfortable spot that Nuguri really couldn't stack up his passive very comfortably. In fact, I think he might have failed one of his Qs up to in the end of that fight, towards the tail end there. Wink, nice calculation of his own damage output and his capabilities, able to flash in there for the kill. And it looks like right now LWX is enjoying himself a slight bit of a CS lead. Unfortunately, he is behind in terms of overall gold by about 500. Sorry, no CS lead available as well. I just imagine not being at the spot means he was able to grab himself some CS. And Nenny playing very safe over here as the wave is pushing away from him. Very smart play here from the top laner. The initially what was thought to be just a substitute, but it turns out to be a long-term fixture for Invictus Gaming, who are quite impressed by the looks of it by Nenny's performance. Despite being 12th place overall with a 2-4 record, it looks like they're very much comfortable with what they see. Maybe the Shy is having a hard time as well getting back into China, but really it could just be a combination of the two, wanting to give their new inexperienced top laner just some time to get used to it. Though truth be told, the summer split is where you generally see teams really put up the pressure, put up the heat, really come and attend the game like the regular season much more aggressively. As you see LNG absolutely on top of their games, changing out their top laner as well between splits, and so far it's been exceptional. So far, the result has been exceptional for them. Now, in mid lane, the battle continues. It looks like Rookie, having finished the first component of his mythic item, is able to stand toe-to-toe slightly with Doingby. Looking at the gold across the board, Nuguri has collected himself a bit of a 200 gold lead, while Shun, on the other hand, does have a very minor 100 gold lead. Everything looking in favor of Doomby in the mid lane, and looking at the CS and looking at the items though, everything looks kind of even across the board. Nothing too big, nothing too surprising. And as the game hits now towards the 10-minute mark, first dragon was taken by Shun without contest, as Rift Herald was indeed taken by FPX without contest as well. Not so much roam plays coming out of Invictus Gaming. Of course, Taric isn't really the most roam-intensive champion, and you really don't want to leave your Kalista alone in lane against a Leona, even though she does have cleanse. A bit of an attempt made on Nenny's life up in the top side. Doesn't look too much. Doesn't like too much happened. Didn't really have to use his flash, which wasn't even up anyways, or his Stormbringer to get out of that situation. Now, looks like a little bit of a ARAM going on in the mid lane, as both the supports as well as the mid laners tussle it out a little bit, but both the junglers are in attendance, as well as off goes Doinby from Skarl. In comes the ultimate from Taric, which allows Invictus Gaming to just run at them. Very nice solar flare, smacking out onto 3, and though the Moonfall was available, Tien is not really at that point in time where he can one-shot 3 people, even though the couple of them were pretty squishy as well at this moment in time. Meanwhile, in the bot side, LWX not really having the time of his life, having to use his True Shot Brush, try and pressure Wink away from him and to allow him to clear the wave. But it looks like he's going to have a very unexpected, unwelcome party come in as 4 people of Invictus Gaming come down. LWX at 1/3 HP, flashing away from Lucas as the face call comes in, taking Lucas away from harm's way. And Chris, really nothing he could do, using the Zenith Blade in. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a direction you want to go in, as he's absolutely collapsed onto by the remainder of Invictus Gaming. And right now, Nenny doesn't even need to do anything but chill up in the top side and hold back the Nuguri, I suppose, as Invictus Gaming just making plays towards the bot as well as the mid lane, using their Taric ultimate, just unleashing themselves onto FPX in a straight up 5v5. Needless to say, Invictus Gaming are exceptionally strong. They have literally 4 team fight ultimates, and Rookie's one can be considered one as well, for maybe about 5. Meanwhile, FPX really don't have such great team fighting, thanks to their top lane Irelia. And even though Kled can engage fights very well, not really like an extreme teamfight champion. Irelia, I think, will be much more comfortable playing along the side lanes throughout the course of this game. Though that's the thing about LPL though, you don't really see very much split pushing from certain teams. Certain teams, you see mostly like just grouping up and forcing, and really FPX is one of those teams. You don't really see too many lone wolves running around and just trying to solo carry the game, take away everything. It's a lot of just grouping up and playing with vision, looking for picks, especially with the charge and with the solar flare, of course. The solar flare at the end of that was absolutely beautiful, getting the CC score magnificently high, as the mythic items have begun to roll into the players' pockets. LWX, despite being able to keep up in terms of overall CS, Wink is still significantly 1.5k gold ahead of him. So we really won't be seeing a Divine Sunder until maybe the next Dragon fight. Hopefully by then, he will be able to wrangle up enough gold to complete his mythic item. But right now, it looks like Invictus Gaming wanting to play towards the top side, wanting to play for that Rift Herald, and FPX in kind are looking to play towards that bot side, try to get something back onto LWX as the Stormbreaker coming out, as well as the Flash trying to get away from the onslaught of both Doing B as Tien, the True Shot Barrage along the black as well. It looks like Nenny, despite using everything, will not be able to escape the relentless pursuit of Doing B and Tien. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Invictus Gaming are pushing as well as in the top. Invictus Gaming pretty satisfied, I think, with that trade, playing through two lanes, getting a horde of playthings for their AD carry, for their solo laner, as well as their jungler at the cost of Nenny. And you really can't blame Nenny playing weak side. He just underestimated how far, the extent at which FPX was willing to go, and of course he paid the price. Ideal situation would have been him not dying there, but Invictus Gaming, I think, are perfectly fine with him giving up a kill over there for what they managed to gain across the map. Now, Dragon and Rift Herald are spawning. Looking at the items, I would say Invictus Gaming, needless to say, honestly, are definitely ahead, as Wink is now going to take down the second tower of the game by himself. Right before FPX can take down the bottom tower as teleport coming in, that is Rookie. Looks like Invictus Gaming, despite having very solid top lane vision, are wanting to gather around for this Dragon first, as Rift Herald now just about spawning in under a minute's time. Invictus Gaming want every objective by the looks of it, trying to push their lead ever so forward, as Nenny now has some time, some reprieve to try and pick up some CS as well while skulking around his team. FPX, to their great credit, are really avoiding the majority and the threatening aspects of Invictus Gaming at this junction of the game, where Invictus Gaming are so much stronger than they are, also clearing out their vision very well towards the top side, establishing some of their own. Don't really expect them to be able to defend this very well. And Invictus Gaming, really, the game plan is to siege down towers as 5, and if FPX stand under a tower, you go golden and you run at them 5-man strong. That being said, they need to be careful for the poke coming out from Shin, as well as the engage from Tien, because of course Tien's Moonfall takes a lot less time than Lucas's ultimate to go off, and really the damage could come through first and one-shot your entire team, especially the later this game goes through. LWX, having finished his Divine Sunder, has now brought himself right back up to where we expect him to be in terms of mythic items and power. Is really just a little bit behind Wink, but Wink hasn't recalled in a solid moment in time. Shin now starting up the Rift Herald. Invictus Gaming do have the Ren to help secure neutral objectives, and they're playing through neutral objectives very well, rotating their entire team. Meanwhile, FPX, I think, are doing a very good job playing to the opposite side of the map, as we see 3 players towards the bot side, Nuguri just hovering towards the top side, see if he can pick up whatever CS and XP, depending on the rotations they catch from the members of Invictus Gaming. And it looks like this tower will fall. Nenny could commit a teleport, but at this point it is way too late, and Doing B will not be stopped. This doesn't really count as split pushing in my opinion. This is really a team playing cross map. Look, because he's not really, like, he's doing this because they know Invictus Gaming is on the opposite side of the map, so he knows that he can be here, he knows he can get something back, he knows he can push waves under tower, force Invictus Gaming maybe to lose a little bit of CS at least, and hopefully try and inch his way towards the enemy team's goal to just close the gap between the two. Very smart play, of course. Now, FPX, it's clear to say that they're behind. The gold graph does reflect that, and they're only a little bit behind. But in terms of control of the game, it must say that Invictus Gaming just feel so much further ahead than FPX. It feels like FPX are really like a weed in the wind right now. They are just being tossed and turned and tumbled around. And like we said, they're playing the map fantastically. But now, what do you do when the grouping starts just like this? Invictus Gaming are so strong right now, and it looks like they're just gonna commit towards the top bot side again, trying to focus down onto Nenny as the charge comes down. Nenny cannot outrun this. Does not have flash, but does have the Stormbreaker using it over the wall, and that will make him safe, as the rest of Invictus Gaming now coming down the river trying to catch the catches, as Nuguri and Doombi are in danger. 10 is in the area. Pink one goes down. Not sure who it really managed to spot out, as the stun goes wide. Shin is frontlining in this situation, and it's already 5-man strong. Down comes Irelia ultimate. Doombi is in the position. The solar flag coming out as well, hitting out Wink, and Wink already the shield ball popped. Is not in the ultimate, as Nuguri is taken down, but 5-man strong. Invictus Gaming are too strong. In comes the Moonfall, but the rest of it doesn't come out. Unfortunately, the second component didn't go down, and it looks like FPX are routed. Invictus Gaming triple kill onto Rookie, and just like that, Invictus Gaming collapsing onto their top laner, who was absolutely bullied throughout the duration of this game so far. And with the baits just trying to make themselves a new bearskin pelt. Unfortunately, the bear bites back, as does the rest of the bear's family. And Invictus Gaming now ballooned the gold lead from just over 1,000 to just at about 6,000 gold at this point in time. Invictus Gaming coming out huge in that situation. Honestly, things were looking a little bit grim at first when Wink was hit by everything that was thrown at him. Didn't manage to get into the ultimate as well. Looks like the rest of his team absolutely popping off as Nugi just absolutely destroyed in this situation. And then we've got Rookie in the backlines holding back 3 players. Elderbeck's trying to jump backwards, and beautiful focus fire coming in here from Invictus Gaming. The 3 to 4 man moonfall coming in, but he was instantly turned onto and destroyed by every member of Invictus Gaming. Did not have his stopwatch by the looks of it. Definitely doesn't have Zonia's, but didn't have a stopwatch available at that point in time. And he did, and it was used, but maybe not in that fight, because I'm pretty sure the Moonfall came out and he got absolutely destroyed. Now, Rookie is definitely going to be able to get away from the members of FPX that have been sent here at him. Knows that he is safe, taking a rather dangerous pathing, as if there were 3 members in that bush, FPX would have been able to pull the trigger and absolutely go onto him, maybe even take him out. Now, deep vision is being established in the towards the bottom side. FPX making it very clear where they want to play towards and trying to send Invictus Gaming towards the opposite side of the map. But they need to be careful, as the members of FPX that are up here could be collapsed. In comes Wink as well as Shin from the mid lane. Looks like they are not interested anymore, as Rookie is about to face check into Crisp and to Tien. Down comes all of the ultimates as the sun and the moon combine, but unfortunately everything missed. The solar flare as well as the moonfall, as Rookie jumping into a 1v3, jumping out with Crisp's life as well, as Shin comes in from over the wall. Doing B, looks like he's going to be left high and dry. Needs to use his ultimate to try and get out. The distance is not very long, however, but it looks like it is enough, as Invictus Gaming, somehow Rookie going in huge in a 1v3 situation, getting the kill for himself as well. Doomby needs to be careful as being pincered right now. Stormbreaker goes down as well as the stun, but the stun does not seem to connect. And the rest of Invictus Gaming more interested in snowballing their lead further, more interested in getting this Soul Point Dragon. Infernal Drake, of course, is going to help them explode the remaining members of the team, and Crisp is supposed to be one of the tankier members of FPX, despite not really having any items. He's supposed to have some base resistances that would help him out, and in that situation, it really looked like it didn't at all stand in the way of Rookie and getting himself another kill on the board. 6-2 is the champion. A pro view here, look at that, dodging every... Oh, okay, the Solar Flare still tagged him out, I think, or the Zenith Blade, but really dodging both the sun and the moon in that situation, and just seeing an opening 176 gold. That is all Crisp is worth at 0 and 4. Crisp not having a very splendid game, as the rest of his team really are reflecting his current state at 4,000 gold behind. FPX have managed to close the gold lead a little bit, ever so little, but things are definitely looking dire. It would be a gross misrepresentation, misinterpretation of the game state to say that FPX looking like they have much of a chance in getting back into this one. Of course, given the compositions of Invictus Gaming being more snowbally-esque, if FPX could somehow stop them literally flat in their tracks right now, there's a good chance that they could come back into this game. FPX need to literally stop this snowball as it is tumbling down the hill and gaining momentum. But right now, it might be too late. The size of the snowball is hard to tell from this distance, and it's up to FPX to see whether they are capable, whether they are up to, whether it's even possible for them to stand in front of the snowball and just withstand this oncoming onslaught, as gravity really is an unbeatable force if you give it enough time. Now, Invictus Gaming are doing what looks to be a, I would say, 4-1, but honestly, Shin is just farming up his own side of the jungle. A bit of lack of sync. Falling a little bit out of sync is the members of Invictus Gaming here, as Rookie is continuously pressuring the bot side, while the rest of his team is channeling their recalls right now, probably want to be in position to threaten a Baron take when enough members of FPX throw themselves at Rookie. So for now, we're gonna have a brief reprieve from the action of the game. By the way, looking at the items now, 2 items coming in for both mid laners, 1 item advantage in favor of Wink of Invictus Gaming. Mythic item as well is completed for Lucas, way ahead of Chris by the looks of it, as his tier now is almost fully stacked as well. In the jungle, it looks like Tien has managed to complete his Zonias ahead of the Blade of the Rune King from Shin. LWX in a very dangerous position, could get stunned out here by the Spectral Maw, does kite away from it very, very well. Thankfully, if he got stunned there, that would have been Baron, that would have maybe even been the end of the game. And it looks like Invictus Gaming, not even wanting to chance a split push, are just grouped up as 5, trying to win vision back in the topside jungle, in the river. Shin stepping out aggressively. Nuguri, really uncomfortable position to be in with this pre-change Irelia. Still needs 5 stacks to be maximum efficiency, and really a nice ultimate can get you very, very close. But If you miss your ultimate, you are really in hot soup, as you're gonna need minion wave or something. You're gonna need a massive stun to reset. In they come. Looks like Doomby is setting up teleport in the top red side. Wink is the only one in position. He's gonna probably tank a full on charge. Actually, he walks away from his teleport is coming in. That is Rookie 10 in the backline, getting 2-man moonfall. Wink is just kiting away. Does have the wits and is so incredibly strong. As the rest of Victor's Gaming kite back to defend their AD carry. Lucas flashing out of the fight, as is Wink flashing out of the ultimate from the Red in the backlines as well, jumping into 1v3 situation, trying to get a kill. Unfortunately, not being able to, as Rookie is just holding back the rest of the tide in a 1v4 situation, jumping back in, gets 2 kills, and Wink is absolutely popping off. Lucas nearly going down, as eventually Wink is tagged towards the tail end of that fight. And another 1-for-4 trade tells me that this snowball has gained too much momentum, and Invictus Gaming are unstoppable at this point in time. Nothing on this good green earth is going to be able to stop Invictus Gaming from absolutely running away with this game. A nice flank was set up there by Doingby, but look, Baron is actually healing them more than it is damaging them, as Lucas, with that huge mana pool off of his tier, really is just having the time of his life. Probably not even going to upgrade the item. Costs way too much for a support's budget in a pro game. It looks like teleport is coming down. Nuguri teleporting in between Rookie and his team, unsure of whether to go for a flank or to try and finish off some remaining members of Invictus Gaming, as they're all really low on mana. A stun coming out, tagging out onto Shin, but he is alone, will not be able to jump into a 1v3 situation. This is not the Nuguri we've seen in playoffs, which absolutely dominates his lane against Xiaohu's Jace, as we see here. Look at this. Look at this situation. Shin 1v3, just tanking up everything, and Lucas jump in to just save his jungler. And look at the ultimate actually saving him a couple times, hopping into the stopwatch, and then Wink in the back lines. Look, they all collapse right back onto Wink, and meanwhile, Rookie is just keeping 4 members of FPX busy within the shroud, within all the mobility that perfect execution provides him, jumping back into the fight as well, and Wink just overstepping ever so slightly. Now FPX are the ones who have been split off from the fight. Nenny running forward onto Doingby, while the rest of his team is actually posturing towards the rest of FPX. Chris jumped onto by Shin, and it looks like somehow Nenny is winning the 1v1, does have the sustain off of the W, while 4 members of FPX are on the Dragon. In comes Shin from over the wall, manages to steal it. It's Dragon Soul for Invictus Gaming, and the only hope that FPX had, a really tiny ray of hope for prolonging this game, pretty much gets dashed by the Heartbreaker over the wall. Flash not even necessary, Blast Plant not even needed, and Tien now is in deep trouble, as the Sun and the Moon combine yet again to try and take out Rookie, who just jumps out of the second part of the Moonfall, but looks like he will be taken out eventually, flashing away from the True Shot Brush, just keeping the members of FPX busy, as 4 of them are bot side, and it looks to be the end of the game, as Stormbringer coming down, damaging the turrets, shutting them off, as in comes the ultimate as well from Lucas to just buy time. However, when it falls off, FPX have a window here, a brief window, in they jump, but Nugi is being taken out immediately. Wink is completely untouched in the backline. Chris is the only one onto him, but it looks like FPX just do not have it within them to rescue this game from the clutches of Invictus Gaming, who right now are feeling themselves, right now are absolutely dominating, and it's rare that you see such an early game snowballing draft go so well in favor of the team that goes for it. Invictus Gaming making it work. Snowball might be 2-4, might be 12th place on the table to the 4th place of FPX, but right now that doesn't even matter, as they played their composition to perfection and just absolutely ran FPX over. Every time FPX tried to stymie the momentum, tried to plant their feet and hold their ground, alas, it was not enough to try and stop Invictus Gaming. And Invictus Gaming really just played the map really well. They set up dives, they went for it. FPX a little bit greedy at times. They tried to hit their mid-game power spike, but alas, it just wasn't enough. And of course, the Tarek pick, able to get out of laning phase relatively unscathed, was absolutely wait, what do you call that? Absolutely, it's like opposite of detrimental, but it was absolutely vital for the members of Invictus Gaming to close out that game. And alas, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya!